Recording. All right, we are starting our weekly UX office hours for import. And I have an agenda to go off of. So the first section is, let me share my screen. No, there we go. Nope. Do you guys see it? What do you see?
Oh, we
you see the agenda?
Yeah, the agenda.
Okay. It's not highlighted for some reason. So the first is just like a read only section. Ilya, like take it or leave it, just reminding you, or, you know, just for reference, I guess. So what I want to chat about is, let's see, creating, okay, we're going to skip number one because I just spoke with Harris. And it's a really simple change, but in my mind, it was mega complicated. So I have a good idea, and I'll be posting later today for y'all to look at. Oh, Ilya, should we combine? I know, oops. You may have already seen this, but while we're on this section, I think just Harris asked, no.
Yeah, I believe we have two issues which looks pretty similar, but I believe we are addressing a bit different things here. Let me just check one second.
Yeah, if you could maybe speak to the two approaches, approach for each. So we can...
I believe, I believe actually this is like two different things, and I don't understand. Like, I'm not sure we need to combine it because one is an ability to dynamically add a group which will be used as a root for migration. This is the one which ends with number 2. So this is adding new group, and it will serve as a root. So for example, when we are doing migration, everything will be added under that group. Well, for where you selected that. But the previous issue is about ability to use root as a root instance. Sorry for the duplicating naming. So for example, if I have the group GitLab org on one instance, I should be able to import it as /GitLab org under another instance. Right now, this is impossible. The only way I could import it as /something /GitLab org, because the root is not available as target, for instance.
Okay, so there is a misunderstanding here then, because it is not the intent of the second issue to be able to create a parent instead of root so that we would migrate. It is to be able to just migrate the group to just hang off a root, to not have a parent, to be a top level group. The difference between these two, we arrived at these two from two different directions. One was sort of, we wanted to be able to do this regardless of whether there's other choices or not. So if I have groups to select from, there's ability for me to say, no, I don't want any of these to be parents. I want the one I'm migrating to become a top level group. And then I think when we talked, you said, oh, but the UI is even broken even more than that. It is that if we have no groups at all, if it's a blank instance, then the UI just bombs. So then I thought, well, let's just have an issue to just play that and just fix that in a way, because that is more critical, so that if there is no groups whatsoever, I can just, I somehow can move this group from one place to another, and it just becomes a group, a root group. It becomes a top level group. And I feel like the solution to both of those issues is the same, which is adding that additional choice in the dropdown that says, this will be a root. Like I have no parent in the dropdown. So the solution to both of those problems will be the same, whether there are other issues to pick from, and this is just an inability to make it a root, or whether there's no issues to pick from, and now it's a bug because we just can't move forward if there's no other groups to choose from and there's no ability to pick roots, and now it's a bomb. So one was being treated as a bug that needed to be turned on very quickly, and the other one could have waited. But in the end, when we discussed the solution, I feel like we arrived at the same solution that solves both, which is just adding that one choice that's always there. And whether there's other groups underneath that or not, it really doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, now it makes sense to me. Sorry. It seems like we were reading the different things on the same letters.
Yeah, it's wherever you put the emphasis in the sentence.
Yeah, so regarding this one, I just need to check. I still believe there might be a scenario when we can't do that, like when we are not allowed to create a new top level group. Yeah, I just need to think when this could be. As usual, our security model is a bit complex, and I can't say with 100% sure opportunity when this happens, but this actually makes a perfect sense to me otherwise. I mean, if we are allowed to create top level group, just add this one, but I'm still not sure what we should write in the drop down, because if I see it / new top level group / team activity, it still feels a bit confusing for me, like a bit unclear what will happen. Probably we should just need to think how and what we should write in that drop down option. But yeah, this makes perfect sense. And I agree that this is like smallest possible approach we can do.
Okay, so in your case, root would make sense because then it is the parent and it's just a special case. We could put it in like less than greater than parentheses and it just says root. So it looks like a special case. It's always at the top or always at the bottom. And okay, I see what you mean. Like if it just says new top level group, then it kind of breaks the pattern of everything else is the name of the parent, and this is an action. We can discuss that in the issue, but so here's my question. Don't you always have the ability to create a group under your own namespace? Like, isn't your namespace always able to create groups or no?
Actually, your personal namespace could not have groups at all for now.
Okay.
So if you open your user namespace, you will not be able to create any groups underneath of that. It works from the backend perspective, but if I'm correct, there is no way to create the group under personal namespace.
Okay, so that would mean then that we do have a possible scenario where there isn't even ability to do a root and you have no groups you belong to. Therefore, we should have a special handling case. So maybe the first issue could be the handling of the special case where there is no root available. And the second issue could be if the root is available, show root. So we could repurpose the issues to solve two problems that are now different.
Yeah, this makes sense, and actually, this might be a good opportunity. It might be probably a good opportunity to revisit all possible empty state scenarios, because we already have two more which are already implemented, and probably we would like to check proper wording on that. This is when there are no groups available for import on remote side. And also when you do filtering and there are no groups on remote side as a result of filter. So for this last one, I've just copied the message. Sorry, your filter.
Wait, does the filter actually, oh, when you're filtering in the dropdown, right?
Yeah.
Not filtering on the page.
Yeah. No. When you're filtering on the page, 1 second, just.
Doesn't the page filter apply to the source groups, not to the destination groups?
It's definitely applied to the source groups, and this is how it worked for project imports.
Right.
We are applying the source to the source.
So I do not understand then what is the, how does the filtering change the choices under destination group?
No, I believe it does not affect it at all.
Okay. So what were you saying then prior to this? You said that potentially filtering can impact.
Yeah, it's just, it could lead to the result when your filter simply does not match any groups on the source side, and we just need a proper message there.
Okay. So it's a different empty state. I was conflating that empty state with this, but that's just a completely different empty state. It's like search results, nothing.
Yeah, and it is also a question: should we communicate them differently? Like as a first minimal iteration, it could probably make sense just to keep them all the same. Like, do not displaying the UX and just saying, "Oh, sorry." It's just like a whole screen message. Sorry, you can't import this one until you have top level group available for you. Probably we could improve on that later, but
so are you saying, Ilya, that you wouldn't be able to create a group from that dropdown? Not at least for MVC.
Yes, sometimes you have no permission to creating top level group, and you have no. So if you do not have a permission to create top level group, you could not import as top level group, obviously, because the same permission model applies.
And if there's no other groups that you belong to, subgroups that
you're doomed.
Then you're doomed. So it would be good to just not show results, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So 1 second, let me just share my screen for a moment.
Yes. Let me.
I can stop your screen share. So.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
1 second. It's ouch. Sorry.
You shared everything.
I'm not sure I'm able. Sorry to. Can you at least see it? Because I could not share one window. I just wanted to show you. Yeah, I have ultra wide screen. Sorry for that.
Okay.
So, for example, right now, how it works, I just started the local instance because it's currently under review. So it's not available on other instance. So when you do a filtering, this is slow here. Sorry, your filter produced no results. And probably we could, as a very first start, just add another message like, sorry, you need to have at least one top level group available for you to proceed.
But that's for the cases where where you have no permission to create top level group.
Yeah, obviously.
Where you don't have, not when the filtering is applied.
Yeah, for sure. We have I mean that keeping the same UX, not displaying the available source groups. So
yeah, let's just go with a sentence in the middle, and then we'll, maybe Amanda can, when you get to it, Amanda, when you have time to maybe produce a better empty empty screen. I know we have some good ones, some fun ones, and some interesting ones. It's always fun to create that.
Yeah, because you are pretty correct, and it feels a bit confusing because these are quite two different empty states. One because one side of the connection, and one because of another side of connection, and we might want to communicate that.
We can decide which one is top. We just need to decide which one takes precedence. Like if both are true, I would believe that inability to create group takes precedence. So you should, like, it doesn't really matter. You shouldn't be filtering for things. If you cannot be creating a group, if you're here and you will not be able to create a group, then the filtering should not show. Like, it really doesn't matter. I would still show that empty state.
Just for planning for the future, we're going to have to look at this from a bulk import state. So we can't expect the user to go down each row and make changes. So how soon will we start introducing kind of the bulk
Checkboxes.
migration? Yeah, checkboxes. I just want to plan for this.
From my perspective, I feel like that's going to be a milestone at least or two.
Yeah,
we have lined up other things ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
So Ilya, you may feel differently, but I know you're always optimistic when when estimating.
Yeah, I'm working on that. Just starting to wanted to quickly check the board. What do we have on my table before that? I believe the import statuses update and so I'm checking just the board. So we have like migration list, a simple pagination done, filter capacity done. I mean, under review, shows the total number done. So this is showing import status, which is will make this milestone. And I'm just checking next up. What do we have?
I see 6 issues.
It's per page size.
Refinement.
Yeah.
Well, and the navigation, is that in there? I don't have it pulled up. The new navigation we're doing? Is that in the queue?
There's no navigation there. I see.
Yeah.
Can
okay.
we
Yeah.
do that?
Probably it will end up next milestone. It looks that.
Oh, the adding import to projects and groups dropdown. That
Yep.
one is already ready for dev.
Yeah.
So we have 3 things in ready for dev and 6 things in refinement, which is a good chunk.
Pretty busy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So we could expect this next milestone, and in any case, if well, no matter what. Okay, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
I think I would like to prioritize the solution, just the adding to the dropdown, if possible, higher than some of the other things that are in the list, because this is almost a bug. Like, you get yourself in a state that you can't get out of. Like, you see these things you want to import, you actually have permissions to create a top level group, and you can't. And I feel like a lot of users will find themselves in that state because it is common for when you're just starting with GitLab to not have groups.
Yeah.
And you're migrating things from somewhere else. Like, it's common you're migrating into a somewhat empty state, and we don't handle that. So I would prioritize that higher. I would put.
Feel free to pull it as high as you feel, and I totally agree with you, because it really ruins like first time user experience, and that definitely we do not want to.
Okay, so I'll repurpose the 2 issues. I will clarify that in the description. One will be about just adding the ability to have root there, and the other one will be what would be the other one?
And another one we could probably just skip for now. It was like about a proper pop-up for creating new top level group and so on. It was about pop-up, and probably we decided like, hey, let's just go with just adding the root instance to drop down.
Oh, I think the other one was, if you don't have the ability to create root, then
you get a warning.
like an empty state that's
Yeah.
really nothing.
Yeah, you can prioritize both because like empty state mechanism is already implemented there. So it's very trivial. It's just adding one message.
Okay. So I'll reshuffle the issues after this to sort of line them up, and I'll ping you in them, and I'll put them in the right spot in on the Kanban board so that they're in order. And
Makes
then
sense to me.
we'll have another issue to make prettier empty states.
Yeah, naming is hard.
I have to do the illustrations, don't I? Oy.
I'm sure there's some kind of like a disconnected cable or some illustration we have elsewhere in empty states, and we just pick it
Yeah,
from
I
there.
actually was also thinking about like two things connected, and having it disconnected on one side, on another side could probably give a visual hint like on which side you have a problem.
I like that.
It's just wild guess.
So let me share my screen. I know we have 2 minutes left, but I just want to talk through a couple of things. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So I just found some UI like bugs, for lack of a better term. But what I can do with those is just create an issue with everything. I don't know, do you want me to create separate issues for what I find, or to start off with, should I create one and then we can break those off?
Could you just show an example, and it will be easier to decide.
Yeah, like,
so is that something that the UX designers can do, or is this a front-end development work purely?
It depends.
Okay.
Usually it's a front-end developer work, but usually sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's harder than it looks like, but usually it's simple.
All right, so.
Just.
So the separator lines. Like,
yeah.
So those are missing. And then I just randomly found this. So this is a dummy account, obviously. And not that anyone will have this many subgroups.
But they might.
Or they might, but like something funky goes on here. So it'd be cool if we could put, figure out how many characters fit and then put in a ellipsis. So those are some examples that we can do. And I think that we can reduce some space between this, which I would like to work on, because I think that if that's okay with you, Ilya, because that'll give me kind of experience on how to fix things on my own. I haven't done that at GitLab.
Yeah, well, so probably let's start with creating one issue describing all problems you would like to address, and we can, as usual, slice an issue an issue one by one to like target separate parts if we would like, I would like, or you would like to address it separately for any reason. So just having one issue to track that and pick up action points from it.
Okay. Yeah, because we could probably combine some and keep some separate and whatnot.
Yeah, because for example, the resizing dropdown, this is like the issue which affects, for example, the project importers as well. So it's a bit wider than you think. And we are having exactly the same issue. And it's actually like not feels more like a bug, but still closely tied to UX. And we still will need to think how we will handle that. Because, for example, I still have a very deep nesting drop downs in my GitLab.com instance. I'm using it for teaching my students, and my student groups are like 5 levels deep.
I didn't know you were a teacher. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, okay, that's cool. I'll do that. I'll create an issue with everything in it. Table sorting, let's hold off until next week, because I don't think that's high up on the list. And then allow users to re-import. Let me mock something up for that at least so we can talk about it. But I think we've gotten through everything in my agenda, or the agenda rather. Any final words?
It's been
You all
fun.
good?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's for me. Sorry for like you had to reschedule the
No,
time.
it's totally fine. I understand completely.
Yeah,
So
friends and family first sometimes.
all the time,
All the
Ilya,
time.
All the time, yeah.
all the time. All right, you have a good night, Ilya, and then
Yeah.
Harris, I'll talk to you after this. If you just want to quickly Slack me
Perfect.
your
Yeah,
meeting. All right, y'all. I'll see you later.
yeah, see ya.